What up, what up, what up, what up? How's everybody doing tonight? Word-ish. It is a beautiful Friday night. What's up, Christine? What up, Mike? My brother in the house. It's another evening, another beautiful Friday evening. Beats and B-sides. Journey to Autopilot. Sorry I missed y'all last week. Well, last week was crazy because my son had a football game that was supposed to be in Michigan. And one of the players got COVID, tested positive, so they canceled the game. So me and my wife figured, hey, we already got the hotels booked. You know what I'm saying? Let's make a weekend out of it. So I was not available last week. But we gonna keep it moving. What up, Chad? What up, Garrett? Good morning. But yeah, welcome to Beats and B-Sides, Journey to Autopilot. This is part 4. And tonight we're gonna talk about finding your own sound and how important that is to personal success. Not mainstream success, not everyone else's success, but personal success. We're going to talk about how important that is to your success. And also, I'm almost done with the final edit of my first video for Autopilot. That was going to be the surprise, but it's not quite finished yet. So next week, you'll get the video live. It'll premiere here on Beats and B-Sides. You guys will see the video first before any blogs, before anything, before it's up on YouTube for everybody to see. You gotta tune in to Beats and B-Sides next Friday, and you'll see the world premiere of the video Aphex Twin from Autopilot. It's coming. But yeah, we're gonna get into Beats and B-Sides. We're gonna start it out how we always started out, you know? With the verse of the week, you know what I'm saying? So the verse of this week is a joint that I did with my homie DJ or Doc Remedy. He also printed these beautiful Beats and B-Sides t-shirts if you can't see them. He also printed the Autopilot t-shirts as well that you can still order. Autopilot available, pre-ordering now. IamIllogic.com, illogic.bandcamp.com. Yeah. But we're going to get it started. And yeah, this is a joint that's going to end up being me, Carnage, the Executioner. Let's see. Simon Says out of Indianapolis. A couple other cats. So it's going to be a pretty cool joint. But it's called Greatest Show on Earth. Here we go. Yeah. Behold the scenes of dreams that I paint. Peen skeeting, leading the way, the canvas is the pain. Only fan is my name of the... Hold on, I'm gonna start that over. Screwed that all up. But that's the cool thing about having this kind of show, because I can start from scratch and get it right. All right, here we go. Very anticlimactic. Behold the scenes of dreams that I paint. Schemes beating legions of great canvases to frame. I only brandish my name to strike fear in the lames who right here. We right here. And you're like a deer in headlights. My peers and I tame lions with the flyers of ease. Flipping lines like acrobats on a flying trapeze. The antidote to the disease of these liars. Bearded ladies who couldn't amaze somersaulting through rings of fire. Try to flash with the ground causing cash. Dog face boy claiming beast, but it's only a mask. Can't balance the high wire, so you're destined to crash to the pavement. We laugh cause you can't say shit. The game is a circus. You're either the ringmaster or a sideshow that's worthless. Either replace hers, just keep your receipt, no re-entry without proof of purchase. It's like that. Yeah, yeah. It'll be much better once you hear the recorded version. Word, so yeah, that is greatest show on earth. My man DJ Remedy, or Doc Remedy, my bad. But yeah, so we're gonna get into talking a little bit about finding your own sound. I hope you are digging these, these Journey to Autopilot talks that I'm giving. Cause yeah, it's just, I saw Hugo, I saw you just ordered pre-ordered the Autopilot. I appreciate it. Pre-ordered the CD. Shout out to Hugo. Shout out to all you guys for supporting me, man. Like, it's really appreciated, man. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about the importance of finding your own sound. The importance of finding your own sound. And yeah, like I said, I hope y'all digging these Journey to Autopilot's kind of giving you a back, kind of little history and the mindset that went into creating this album. And yeah, so we are going to talk about finding your own sound and how important it is to personal success. And I emphasize personal success. What up, Cody? I emphasize personal success because what society deems successful doesn't always feel like success to the artists themselves. What everyone else deems as successful doesn't necessarily feel like success to the artists themselves because they're doing what they need to do to survive, or they're doing what they feel like they need to do in order to fit in or blow up or, make that money that they're making. So the reason that I say finding your own sound is important to personal success, because when you find your own sound, that means that you have discovered who you are. That means that you have discovered who you are in this music industry, in this music world, because there's a lot of music out there. There's, all types of different music, all types of hip hop you can even listen to. So finding your own sound is important to personal success because you feel like you are in a place that you're supposed to be when you find your own sound. It took me a long time. What up, Malachi? Lucky Charm in the house. But it took me a while to find my own sound as a producer because it was something new. And I had studied so many other producers in a long time, during my whole career, or even getting into hip hop, over, 40 years now or 30 years now. But getting into hip hop, I've been influenced, so me finding my own sound as a producer, it took some time, and it also, changes how you listen to music. It changes how you define yourself with the beats that you rap over, especially when you're producing for yourself. So with this album, I tried to make sure that this album didn't sound like anyone else's. I tried to make sure that I selected beats that were different from any of my peers. Like, I didn't want this album to sound like anyone. So, and because it's my first produced album, I wanted to make sure that it was a signature sound of mine, that it felt like it was a completely new thing for Illogic. So, but as an MC, finding my own sound and finding my own voice was natural because I was always the different one. I was always the one that was the weird guy. Like if you guys read, my man Blueprint got a new book out called The 10 Traits, well, it's coming out actually in October, called The 10 Traits of a Successful Artist. And in that book, there is a section about originality. And he interviews Open Mike Eagle. He goes over some interviews of De La Soul, talks about them. And originality is so important, and finding yourself is so important. When we were young and when I was coming up in hip hop, sounding like someone else was a cardinal sin. So you didn't want to be the guy that sounded like this dude. You didn't want to be the guy that sounded like KRS. You didn't want to sound like Guru. You didn't want to sound like any of the cats that were doing it, you know, because everyone had their own sound. All the groups had their own sounds. All the solo artists had their own sound. So in that sense, as an MC, I've never even attempted to sound like someone else, and I don't think that I do. I think a lot of people that may sound like me because they've listened to me before. And that may not be true. You know what I'm saying? Like, that may not be true. Don't want to flash the ego a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I believe, and one of the reasons that I have become somewhat a successful artist over the years is because I have my own sound, and I've developed a sound that sounds like no one else. A lot of people may compare me to certain people, but that's only in usually content, not necessarily style. So finding your own voice and finding your own sound is completely important, because for me, and I'm going to explain how it's important to me and how I made it feel more like success to me, because, you know, I'm not on the radio. I still work a regular job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did have a time where I was doing music full time, but, you know, I still work a regular job, but I feel like I'm successful. And doing this album and doing the things that I've been able to do over the course of my career shows that I'm successful. So that's the reason that I say personal success, because me finding my own sound allowed me to get to a point where people know who I am, allowed me to get to a point where people think that I'm a good rapper, allowed me to get to the point where people believe that I make good music and I have a positive message and those things. So allowing, you know, embracing the fact that you don't sound like anyone else is something to be proud of, not something to be scared of. Now, it is scary, especially in today's climate where everyone sounds like everyone and no one wants to be themselves. And usually those people that sound like someone else only feel that they're successful on the outside, but inside they're unhappy because they haven't found their voice, or the voice that they're using they know isn't their voice, because the voice that they want to use is hampered by the press or hampered by the record label or hampered by a fan base that you showed them one song and now that's all they want you to do. Or they heard Drake and now everybody that sounds like Drake is popping. You know, so it's very difficult, but being an artist at heart, I always want to applaud myself for being original. I always want to put myself in a place where I sound like no one and no one sounds like me, and I'm happy with that. And the fact that the way that I sound is not something that is part of a mass appeal, you know, I'm okay with that, because I've carved out my, you know, little brick in the wall of hip hop. And, you know, once this story is written, I hope to God that my name is mentioned. And I think I've done enough to where in certain circles it will be. And that has to do with finding my own voice and becoming who I am supposed to become, and not becoming something that someone else wants you to become or wants me to become. Like I've had, you know, situations where I've been offered record deals by record labels, but they want me to do something that's out of my character. They want me to become and sound like someone that is popping, that's going to sell records. And I've chosen to go my own route, and I've chosen to be who I'm going to be whether I have 100 fans or 10,000 fans, I'm going to still be who I'm going to be. And in the process of getting to this point where Autopilot is now, coming to fruition, it's completely me. It's completely my sound. It's completely me sounding like I want to sound and not sounding like how people think I should sound. Even in underground hip hop, there's people that want you to continue to do what you've done just because it works. Now, sometimes when you find your voice, you kind of got to stick in that area, because if you veer outside of that, you may not be successful. You may not be trying to do what you're supposed to do. But in the process of growing and in the process of continually evolving and learning who you are, you should always be growing. You should always be doing something different. Every record shouldn't sound the same. Every book that you write shouldn't sound the same. Every poem that you write shouldn't sound the same. It's kind of going to the beat. I like that. I might use that as a hook. But you should always be looking to grow. You should always be looking to transform the sound that you're using from the person that you actually are and the person that you're becoming. So so it's time, at times when you dive outside of that realm, people may not accept it because you're trying to find out, you're trying to dip into waters that you're not supposed to be in. And it can be a hard lesson to learn. My man Poetic just posted that we learned a hard lesson with Diabolical Fun. Personally, I love Diabolical Fun. I really like the album. I think the writing on it is spectacular. I think the production is spectacular, but it was different from everything that I've ever done, and I just wanted to try something different. But it was outside of my purview. It was outside of the sound that I have created for myself, but I wanted to try something different. So I did it, and in my eyes, it was success, but in the public's eyes, it wasn't. A lot of my fans really didn't like that record, and it's not a knock on us, as Poetic produced it. What about playing characters that reflect your influences? That's all good, you know what I'm saying? But reflecting your influences doesn't necessarily, like, when you reflect your influences, the problem with reflecting is that a reflection usually is a mirror image. So it's the exact same thing. Reflecting the influences, being influenced is different. You know what I'm saying? Being influenced by someone is different from reflecting them. So I've been influenced by a whole lot of people, but I've, turned them all into a gumbo and created my own style with the influences. A lot of people just reflect who they want to become and turn into that person and never become who they're actually supposed to become. So you never want to sound the same. You never want to do the same thing, but you always want to be embedded in who you are as you grow. And in my opinion, back to the Diabolical Fun example, I thought in that moment and in that time when I wrote those songs, that's who I was. Now, because it was kind of outside of my purview as an artist, my fans didn't necessarily understand it, but that album has an important place in my discography and an important place in my heart for my growth. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do the things that you want to do, but you also have to understand that society and the crowd that you're trying to capture isn't always going to latch on. And that doesn't mean that it's not a personal success, but it may not be a commercial success. Those things are completely different, So, like it's been lately, like I'm not going to be in front of you guys for long. I just want to kind of give you, a little taste of how my mind is working now, and the way that I want to keep moving with this campaign and with other campaigns and just going forward with beats and B-sides is I want to, give you guys some of these talks every now and then. And I know it's, fun to hear the beats and listen to the music and hear the B-sides. But sometimes, we all have things to say, you know what I'm saying? And right now I believe that, me kind of giving you guys some background and really talking to you is important for you to really understand this album when you get to hear it. And one of the craziest things about this album and, going into finding your own voice is there's so much craziness going on. As a lot of I don't know what your stances are. I hope, your stances are just for basic human decency. But, outside of a lot of the other things, George Floyd was a tragedy. Tamir Ross was a tragedy. All of these things were tragedies. But for the Breonna Taylor verdict to go the way that it went, that really kind of hurt. And interestingly enough, a lot of the things that us artists have been talking about for years are starting to come to fruition and be seen in the media. And the song Aphex Twin is definitely a song that talks about, in my way, of course, talks about a lot of the things that are going on right now and a lot of, the angst in not only the Black community, but just communities of people that really care and really care about humanity as a whole and understand that Black lives do matter and understand that the term Black Lives Matter, just because there is an organization that has that name, the statement doesn't ring any less true if you agree with that organization or not. The statement doesn't ring any less true because right now it is very important. It is very, very important to understand about Black and brown lives and the lives of women and the lives of, everyone. It does matter. We're not saying that all lives don't matter, but Black lives do matter. And right now they're under attack. So, the whole Breonna Taylor thing is really, hurt me and made me feel a type of way. And, giving you guys Aphex Twin next week is really gonna, I think it's, me doing my part to kind of raise awareness, which I've been doing throughout my career if you listen to my records. And, but, we're just going to keep it going. But, it is a song that, I think is relevant for these times. And, I just want you guys to hear it. So next week you will be getting a preview only if you're here in Beats and B-Sides that you'll be able to watch that. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate you guys. And I really want everyone to have an amazing weekend. And thank you guys so much for supporting me. Thank you guys so much for, being part of this movement. And I couldn't do it without you. No matter, what you support, I'm glad you support me. So I really, really do appreciate it. And yeah, man, find your sound, find your own voice. It's completely and utterly important. Autopilot is available for pre-order. Album comes out October 20th, 2020. And I'll be seeing you guys soon. Thank y'all so much for listening. Peace.